Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and welcome back to another episode of our speculation series covering the next Three Kingdoms title from Creative Assembly. In this episode, I will start outlining some of the provincial level management implementations mentioned in the previous episode as sort of a wish list for the next game. First off, provinces have always been a core element of Chinese history, from the mythical days of the Shang Dynasty, where it was said that Da Yu, after taming the waters of the Yellow River, drew out the boundaries of the 9 provinces, and thus China was born. For this reason, China was also known as the land of the 9 provinces, or Jiuzhou, during the Warring State period, as the original 9 provinces of Jizhou, Yanzhou, Qingzhou, Xuzhou, Yangzhou, Jinzhou, Yuzhou, Liangzhou, and Yongzhou define the boundaries of China. But with the passing of time and expansions during the Han Dynasty, by the time of Three Kingdoms, the original 9 provinces have expanded to 13, as Youzhou, Binzhou, Sizhou, Jiaozhou, and Yizhou were added, while Liangzhou was rezoned. And since provinces were the highest non-central government entity, their role in governance was immense, especially after the introduction of governors on Liu Yan's suggestion following the Yellow Turban Rebellion. As previously, provinces were only assigned a prefect or inspector, depending on the translation, whose job was to inspect the performances of the administrators, who each governed individual commanderies that made up a province, and then reported back any concerns to the imperial court. Most of the time, prefects did not have any military command, although there were exceptions, in particular in frontier provinces where nomadic invasion or rebellion were a commonplace occurrence. But with the introduction of governors, provinces reached almost a new state of autonomy, as governors themselves had the power to host their own armies and change appointments and law as they saw fit within their provinces, which further contributed to the warlord fractious state of the later Han periods. Regardless, it was a real shame that in the original Total War Three Kingdoms, provincial level management was non-existent, as commanderies was the largest level subdivision provided in the game. So how can we fix this? Well, looking back at the population patch note, it was clear that CA already had a solid idea of which commanderies made up of each province, so proper division of the map shouldn't really be an issue going forward. How to make it interesting and rewarding in terms of gameplay is going to be the real challenge. First, the simplest addition that should be made would be the ability to appoint governors or prefects or both. Now, for the sake of simplicity and game design, let's just have a single governor position that can be appointed once you gain ownership of the entire province. Much like administrators in the current game, that governor should be able to apply his stats to grant bonuses throughout the entire province. This could include changes to corruption, construction costs, population growth, income, food production, recruitment costs, public order, and the recruitment limit of province unique units. Now, I use the term change here instead of bonus or buff because I believe the current game application of only buffs for administrators is not only unrealistic, but also lack the strategic trade-off that could end up enabling all the classes to become effective administrators or governors in this case. For example, right now in the current game, only the expertise and resolve stats are remotely relevant to administration, with the construction cost discount from expertise being oftentimes the most important factor when deciding administrators. Combined with the limited selection of skills on the skill tree with relevance to administration, Sentinels are unchallenged when it comes to being the best administrators in game. And this is not good game design. Instead, I believe all 5 stats should play a role in the effectiveness of administration, as many default bonuses such as +1 army count, 30% corruption reduction, and 15% income to all sources that you get for any administrator should be removed. And even the administrator related skills on the skill tree should also be removed, as it's very hard to balance them across 5 separate classes where each class are relevant. Instead, each of the 5 core stats should have some sort of impact on administration bonuses. For example, Instinct could impact the recruitment cost, army slot, and provincial unique unit recruitment limit. Once again, I use the term impact here instead of increase because I believe there should be a higher baseline value for the neutral change that is not set at 0. So if you have a character that has low instinct, then you would actually have to pay more to recruit in a particular province or commandery, lose army slots, and have less than the default amount of unique province unit available to recruit. The same can be said for expertise, which should impact construction cost, building upkeep, and industry income. Cunning should impact commerce income, number of trade routes, and local corruption. Resolve should impact population growth, peasantry income, and replenishment rate. And finally, authority should impact satisfaction for local generals, morale of local armies, and number of assignments. This should make governors and administrators more impactful, while also giving the player some tough decisions in terms of what they might want to gain or lose from their appointment, while providing something attractive enough for all 5 classes, while also rewarding special unique characters who might have high stats in all or multiple stat categories despite what their classification would be. And as hinted above already, unique and powerful provincial troops should be provided in limited quantities once the entire province is controlled by one faction, as a means to spice up the mid-game. This is also a great way to add historical flavor to the game, as such specialized provincial units did exist. As a matter of fact, we already have many of these in the current game as faction unique unit. The E Archers of the E Province, the Bin Flying Riders, the Xiliang Cavalry, and the Tindril Assault Infantry are just a few examples of these, and they can be easily shifted from their current faction unique unit role to a province unit role, as it makes little sense that Liu Bei should be able to recruit special archers all the way from E Province in the 190 start when he's on the opposite side of China. Now, I do believe the game should make all these units stronger through either stat boost or special abilities to make them attractive rewards, as the limited recruitment limit can serve as a good natural balance for campaign, while for multiplayer battle balance, upping their recruitment cost in custom battle should do the trick. Lastly, aside from providing a variety of bonus and special units, another bonus of owning an entire province should be prestige, which doesn't sound like much, but if prestige gains from other avenues are reduced, which is something that I will discuss in future episodes about settlement levels, then having province completions, or basically the ability to gain large areas of completed land, should be the main way to gain prestige, and it's an accurate reflection of how things worked historically as you got these titles, and a lot of factions were referred to by how much land they owned, such as Yuan Shao with his 4 provinces in the north. While this might take away from certain tall strategies, I still think it makes more sense for the game. And while not directly involved in provincial management, and something that can be quite a bit of work for CA, I think character relations and recruitment should also have a provincial element added in. Regional pride and bond is a big factor in China, especially in the past, when regional connections meant a lot more in a not so interconnected world. People like Wang Yun and Lü Bu were able to build their relationship mainly because they were both from the Bin province. And similar examples like this could probably fill an entire book, so it would only make sense for each character in the game to receive a home province stat that would give fondness amongst people of the same province, and for them to only show up in the recruitment pools of the factions who control a piece of land in that province. This makes not only historical sense, but also gives the player even more incentive to capture certain provinces as they look for their favorite characters, while also helping AI factions to keep historical rosters, as most factions historically recruited from the local areas where they occupied, which is why you have the Inchuan clique of advisors inside of Cao Cao's faction, and the Jin province group for Liu Bei. So with all that said, I'm going to end our episode here. And if you have any additional ideas regarding provinces that you want to add, or simply want to let me and perhaps the developers know which one of my ideas you liked or disliked, feel free to drop a comment below. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode enough to leave a like, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!